We're going to be reading Our Trip to Washington, D.C. in your big reader book on page 73. Please read along and follow because it's going to go with the OWL book, page 199, with vocabulary, where you'll read the words at the top: archives, declaration, figure, monument, challenges, equality, memorial, and vault. So you're going to want to listen to the vocabulary. And then you have the same words, and you will do matching on this side where you draw a line to match to the correct word. All right, so let's listen to the story.
Genre: realistic fiction. Essential question: why do many symbols of the United States appear in Washington, D.C.? Our Trip to Washington, D.C. by Lane Katsaros. Illustrated by Joanne Lou Vriethoft. "What are you looking at, Mom?" asked Haley. "I just finished the scrapbook of our trip to Washington, D.C., Mom said. "Cool," replied Parker. "Let's look at it," said Dad. "This map shows all the places we visited," Mom said. "We started here," said Parker. He pointed to the Lincoln Memorial on the map. "That's right. We learned about President Abraham Lincoln," said Dad.
Memorial. Something that honors a person who has died or serves as a reminder of an event where people died. Mount Rushmore is an example of a national memorial. Memorial.
"The statue of him in the huge chair was awesome," Haley said. "He looked like a giant." "That's because he was an important figure in our past. He led our country during a time when the northern and southern states were at war," said Dad. The Gettysburg
Figure.
Sorry, I cut him off. Let me do this
The
again.
statue of him in the huge chair was awesome, Haley said. "He looked like a giant." "That's because he was an important figure in our past. He led our country during a time when the northern and southern states were at war," said Dad. The Gettysburg Address.
Figure. A person who is regarded in a specific way. A mayor is a public figure. Figure.
"He looked very serious," added Parker. "He was serious," explained Mom. "President Lincoln faced many challenges. He saved the country and helped to end slavery. He was also known for his great speeches."
Challenges. Plural form of challenge. Something that is hard to do. Climbing a mountain can have many challenges. Challenges.
"Do you remember the marker in front of the Lincoln Memorial?" Mom asked. "That's where Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. gave an important speech," said Parker. "It was called 'I Have a Dream,' and we listened to it at school. I have a dream."
We actually talked about all that in class.
"And this is Dr. King's statue," Haley said excitedly. The plaque in front of the statue said he was a stone of hope. Dr. King fought for civil rights for all people. He represented hope for equality to a lot of people, Dad explained. "Out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope."
Equality. Being equal, having the same rights. We learned about equality and fairness during our field trip to the courthouse. Equality.
Mom turned the page. "Hey, exclaimed. Mom smiled. Do you remember who it was built for? Our country's first president, George Washington, replied Parker.
Monument, a building, statue, etc. that honors a person or event. The park has a monument of Martin Luther King. Monument.
The Washington Monument is the tallest building in Washington, Haley added. The elevator ride to the top was fun, said Parker. I liked looking down on all the people. They looked like moving dots, Haley said.
A lot of this is stuff that we did learn when we talked about President's Day and Martin Luther King's birthday. Yeah.
When Mom turned the page, Dad chimed in. This is one of the most recognizable buildings in Washington, D.C. That's the White House, Parker said. Our president lives there, Haley added. George Washington didn't live at the White House, Parker reminded everyone. He's the only president who did not live there. It would be so cool to live there. It has 32 bathrooms, Haley exclaimed, and a movie theater, and a bowling alley. Mom turned the page again. Next, we visited the U.S. Capitol building. Do you remember learning that our government representatives meet there? Asked Dad. Those are the people we elect to represent us in Washington, D.C., Parker added. I liked seeing the inside, where the laws are made, said Haley. Me too. I also liked learning about the statue of the woman on top of the building. She stands for freedom, Mom said. We saw the National Archives as well. Do you remember what we saw there? Dad asked. That is where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are displayed, Parker said. They sit behind thick green glass, Haley added.
Archives, plural form of archive, a place where public documents are kept and stored. Important records and reports are kept in archives. Archives.
Declaration. An official announcement. I'm making a declaration today that I will run for class president. Declaration.
That's right, said Mom. The thick glass protects those important papers. Those papers are more than 200 years old. The papers are lowered into a vault every night to keep them safe, too, said Parker. The National Archives Museum.
Vault. A locked room where money or valuables are kept. The safety deposit boxes are inside the vault at the bank. Vault.
The Declaration of Independence said the United States was its own country, Haley said. And the Constitution explains how our country will be run, Mom added. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, and our early leaders signed it on July 4th, 1776, explained Dad. So that is why the 4th of July is our country's birthday, said Parker. Our trip to Washington, D.C. was so interesting, Haley said. I want to see other important symbols of the United States, said Parker. Haley added, Like the Statue of Liberty? We should plan another family trip sometime soon, Dad said. Looks like I'll need another scrapbook. Mom smiled. Vocabulary. Searching for our history. Miss Lopez's class was starting a new project. They were going to learn about their ancestors. The students were curious. What if their relatives were important figures in history? The students went to the archives at the library. One challenge of doing research is that many records did not survive over time. Some of the records were kept inside a locked room. Miss Lopez said it reminded her of a vault at a bank. Librarians helped students look through paper files. They also used computers to search. The class discovered amazing things. One student had an ancestor who signed the Declaration of Independence. Another had relatives who helped build the Lincoln Memorial and other monuments. Some others had family members who fought for equality during the Civil Rights Movement. Social Studies. Power in the Capitol. In our trip to Washington, D.C., you read about our nation's capital and some of the many historic memorials and monuments located there. But Washington, D.C. also has many buildings that are used every day. In the Supreme Court building, 9 justices or judges hear legal cases and make final decisions when other courts disagree. They clarify the laws written in our Constitution and make sure that the laws are fair to everyone. The laws that are written by Congress and approved by the President must be fair. The Supreme Court works to make sure that happens. It is important that each branch of government has equal power to the others.
All right, so that's it for this unit. You're going, like I say, you're going to do the vocabulary on page 199 and 200. And that's all I have for right now. See you on the next one. Bye.